Hey, good afternoon. Miguel Lloyd, host of Chamber Live, and I'm the owner of Lloyd Media Group, also the Vice President of Marketing and Communications here for the Atlanta Black Chambers. It's been a minute. We kind of took a little bit of a hiatus towards the end of last year. We wanted to come back in here strong, and boy, are we coming in strong with this episode. Our guest today will be Lamar Tyler. Lamar Tyler has a company called Tyler New Media. He's been around for a minute. He and his wife started this business some probably 15 years ago, but I'll let him, he'll run that all down for us. But we've got a big conference that they do twice a year, and one will be coming up in about a week and a half, I think. We're going to have Master P in town, as well as some other really big people who had a lot of success. But it's not just the celebrities that are come because they're celebrities in business. You know, those big names draw. He had, I think, Magic here last summer and some other folks. But it is the success that they've had in business. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about building community. And how important that is in building your business here in the market. Now, before we get into it, we got a little bit of an affiliate video. Interesting enough, I think Lamar might have been the first person I saw use this software. The software you see me using here is called Ecamm Live. It's a great software that I use to produce all of my content, not only for our business, for Chamber Live, for my personal podcast, Life Full Circle Radio, and a lot of post-production work. And so it's a great tool. It's very intuitive, especially if you have a Mac. You can only use it if you have a Mac, but it's a great tool. I'm gonna run this affiliate video for you, and there's a QR code on the screen that you can scan if you want to get yourself a trial with Ecamm. All right, welcome back to Chamber Live. As I mentioned, Chamber Live, Ecamm is a great tool that you can use. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump into our recap. We want to let you know what has been going on. The Chamber doesn't stop. Melvin he makes himself and the organization take a break in the month of December because the rest of the year we're running. And so early on, as we look at the different activities, and most of our activities we'll find on our social media pages. This is our Facebook page. You can follow us on Facebook to keep up with us. Most folks really stay engaged with us via our Instagram page. A lot of activities. You see the broadcast we're having now is being showcased. Lamar was also on our Tuesday Talks on Tuesday. We're going to dig into a little bit more of a conversation and get ready because Lamar loves to answer questions. That's how he's built his community. And so you can be able to drop some questions in the chat. We'll see if we can get him to engage in some of those questions that we have. But as I mentioned, financial tax relief coming up. Tuesday Talks, we had Ron Busby from the U.S. Black Chambers was on with us at the beginning of the year. Shout out to my girl, Michelle Glover, who was awarded the ABC Transformative Leadership Award. For people who don't know, our Women's League is a dynamic part of our organization. She has led that now for probably 6 or 7 years. And so it was time for her to be recognized. She's someone who works really, really hard and doesn't really care about recognition. It was held at the Gathering Spot, which we love. The Gathering Spot is, if you were following that story with Ryan and TK now having reacquired the Gathering Spot, and we were supportive of them in either way. And so we're proud of them and what they're doing over there. And so if you want to keep up with us and the things that we're doing, Instagram is a great place to follow us. You can follow us on Facebook as well. As I mentioned, a lot of the same information will be there. This broadcast is being broadcast on Facebook as well as YouTube. Will be rebroadcast on the other platforms, possibly LinkedIn, which we're also very active on LinkedIn as well. So we are where you need to be if you want to get engaged. When I tell you I've been a part of this organization for going on 9 years, and the exponential growth that we've seen with this community over the course of the last 3 or 4 years, because even during the pandemic, we saw tremendous growth with this organization, and so we're really proud about all the work that has been done. We're really proud of now well over 1,000 member businesses in the Atlanta market, as well as some in other countries and overseas as well. And so that's where we are. But I'm really excited. I want to bring our guest in because we want to maximize our time before we bring him in. Hey, Trisha Jones. Hey, sis, good to see you. We'll be able to bring in some of the folks and get your questions ready for our guests. So as I mentioned, Lamar Tyler. Lamar is been getting it done for a while, and don't let the smooth taste fool you. Right? He's a really conversational. He's a cool dude. He's real. He's from the DMV. We can get all our go-go and mambo sauce references out real early, and then we're gonna get to the business. But Lamar and Ronnie Tyler are getting it done. Good afternoon, Lamar. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for having me on, Miguel. Excited to be here again.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You were just on Tuesday, and when and shout out to our girl Candace Ledbetter. She, as soon as I hit her up, she said, "Yeah, man. He, of course you can have him on Tuesday Talks." I said, "Well, if you're coming on Tuesday Talks, you got to come on Chamber Live because I know Tuesday Talks is a little bit of a shorter because it's more condensed. I wanted us to have a little bit more in-depth conversation, but it's so funny. I wish I could find the video. I think you were the first person who I saw using Ecamm, and I jumped on it." Because I loved how great of a tool it is to do broadcasts like this. And this was right before the pandemic. So we were all stuck in the house. And so we still need to get this stuff out here, man. And it's talking about community. That's a great community that they have. But let's talk about your organization. Let's talk about the genesis of what you've been doing from the beginning. Because my man, you've been not getting it done, and I've been watching it and watching every step of the way.
Yep. Yeah. So, again, thank you for the invitation. My name is Lamar Tyler. My wife, Ronnie, and I run our company is Tyler New Media. We own several online brands, different properties, primary of which being right now Traffic Sales and Profit, where we help Black entrepreneurs learn how to grow and scale their businesses. So if you're like, hey, I'm just getting started and I'm trying to reach that first 6 figures in business and revenue per year, we got you, right? We got companies that are in the sixes and multiple sixes trying to get to 7. And then we got companies that, 7 to 8 figures as well. So a whole entire ecosystem, product-based, service-based, but just people that want to do good business, that have integrity, stand behind what they say they're going to do right, that want to deliver the most amazing customer service ever, and want to grow sizable businesses. And Miguel, I think that's the thing I always talk about, right? We got to get beyond, just create new jobs for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
We got to get beyond hustles, but we got to build like sizable enterprises that can employ people,
Correct.
that can really give, into the community. And if I could just say real quick, like a good example of that, next week we got our TSP Game Plan Conference here in Atlanta. And I always tell the audience, hey, like most time when we think about, we got to support Black businesses. We thinking about, hey, you know what? This person got like some type of widget and I'm going to buy one. I ain't gonna buy like 100 of them. Like I'm gonna buy one and that means I support a Black business. Or, somebody got a corner store. We're going to go down to the corner store. We're going to get some snacks from them, and that's supporting the Black business. But one of the things I love is that the bigger we get to grow, not only do we have the opportunity to employ Black people on the payroll and recirculate the dollar through payroll and through benefits and through 401k and profit sharing matches that we do. But then I get to go to an event next week and pay my AV team, pay my security team, right? All these amazing Black vendors, pay my DJ, pay the woman who has a volunteer staffing company that staffs us, pay the event planners. Like, so really, like I said, moving that dollar around and thinking on a broader scale and scope of what does it really look like to move the Black dollar around in our community.
It's funny you mentioned. I remember the last time I was at TSP, you had speech and Arrested and Arrested Development. I was just like, who can go to a business conference and you kick it off with one of your hip hop legends, right? One of the folks that we all love, but people don't get it twisted, right? Lamar is about his business, and the community is about that business, right? Talk to us about the success of a lot of the people like Freddie Taylor, who we've had on our show before, and Curl Mix, and some of the other folks who've been committed to your program, and they're doing extremely well now.
Sure. I'm a big believer in proximity to success, and you want to get around people that are successful and have the things that you want. Because I'll always say, right, it's impossible to say, hey, my biggest goal ever is to have $100,000 business if you're in a room full of people that got $1 million businesses. It's impossible because like once you see it, you can't
Yeah.
unsee that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
once you see like some certain numbers go across,
Yeah.
like it just shifts something and changes something in you, especially once you see that it's possible and it's possible for you. So that's what we've done with that TSP ecosystem. Like when we have that event, I always start the event by saying, hey, you know, how many of you have, you know, business doing over $100,000 a year? And it's the majority of the room stands up, right? How many you got, you know, 7 figures, right? Might be 30% of that room stand up. I say, how many, you know, 8 figures doing $10 million a year? Handful of them folks stand up. So what I'm telling people is that it's not a lot of rooms you can go into where it's people doing that type, Black entrepreneurs doing that type of business, right? But
Absolutely.
again, like this, like real serious about what they do. Now, at the same time, like you said, oh, we gonna have fun.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, we go.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, we gonna go to church. We gonna
Yeah.
go to trap. We gonna
Yeah.
go to, you know, we gonna mix in all parts
Yeah.
of Black culture.
Yeah.
And that 3 days is gonna be
Yeah.
every piece of Black culture. But that's the beauty of who we are as a people.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
be rap and we can be blues and we can be gospel
Absolutely.
and we still can exude it all and try to line through all of it with Black excellence.
Man, I have no problem praising you and your wife and what you guys have been doing. Because we as Black folks love to be entertained. And so because we love to be entertained, you got people dedicated and locked in for 3 days. This isn't no luncheon 2-hour conference, right? This is 3 days of
9 to 9.
intense. Yeah, and people don't want to leave. I remember, and I'm gonna find my way in there. I'm coming in the back door. I'm coming in your bags or something. But I remember, man, when there was some program that you had, because I know you have levels to your program. There's the TSP, the Propel program, and
then our mastermind and collaborative. Yep.
and I think the mastermind. I think at that point it might have gone up now, but I think it was like 15K, and people were lined up. And of course, here's the thing, and this is what I love about what you're doing. That mindset of lack is non-existent in the TSP community. You see people lining up for a $15,000 opportunity, and you was like beating people off, right? And it's not about you guys are giving quality. I'm very familiar with it. I've been a part of the community for a while, and it's quality content, but it's the community.
Yep.
Talk to us about how you've built that level of community. It's taken you a while, but you've been doing it pretty strong. Over 40,000, I think, people are in your Facebook group.
Yeah. So 45,000 plus in the group, Black entrepreneurs, like I say, all different types. And you know, I tell people all the time, and it's this great question. It's going to be more important than ever. Is that community piece?
Yeah.
Because what a lot of people up until this point, you know, over years, decades, generations, have focused on is just content alone. But now with the advancements in AI, content will be easy. Information will be easy. You like, hey, you know what? You know, if I want to learn about the heart, I got to go to a special place and talk to somebody that's a specialist in the heart. Now I just got to go to ChatGPT and ask it the right prompts. And I can have an ebook about the heart. I can have a course about the heart. I can have a curriculum about the heart. You know, I can do all these different things.
Sure.
So what is going to make you stand out from just the person, again, they got the book, they got the course, they got the speech. If they're a good talker and presenter, I can go and chat GPT using AI and craft an entire speech right now and just have somebody that's good at going out and delivering it. Even if they've never even put any input into it. The difference is community.
Yeah.
And it's going to be two things, community and expertise. So it's not going to be like, hey, can I deliver the speech? It's can I deliver the speech and then take questions after that's done and crush every question that comes up, right?
Right.
It's like, hey, you know what? Do I have, like I said, not just the information, but do I have a community of people that'll support, uplift, encourage each other, hold each other down when that information comes? And that's what we've been able to do through TSP. And I really boil it down to 4 primary things.
Okay.
The first is that, like, it starts with that content. So what's the content that people are gravitating toward? The answers, the questions, the challenges, the issues they may face in their business, in their life, in their, like, whatever it is that, you know, as you're watching, that you kind of focus on. So first thing is the content. After we get past the content, the second piece, Miguel, that you pointed to, and I hope everybody caught, is consistency. Like with Traffic Sales and Profit, we've been in that group delivering great content since 2015. So since that time, right, it's people that was there, it's people that left, it's people that left and came back, right? But like what they know is that whenever I'm ready, is a group and a set of people here that's ready to help them support me. They know they can come in and ask a question about their website. Somebody gonna answer it. They're gonna ask a question about the launch they're trying to do. Somebody gonna give them an idea or give them feedback. So consistency. Then beyond consistency, we look at creativity. Like that's the part that's what makes you different. Because again, now that anybody can input information into the machine and get information out, like what's the creative part that you can put on top of it? And that's what we do
Mm-hmm.
at the events, right? Like bringing in a musical act, like the way we can present, the way we can speak to the audience is in a creative fashion that they don't get at most business conferences. So that makes us stand out.
Yeah.
And then I always say like the fourth C is when you bring those first three together. You take your content, you take your consistency, you take your creativity. That's when you start to build a fourth C, which is culture. And like you'll see like a culture inside of TSP. Like
Mm-hmm.
I had somebody recently that was in a group, right? And somebody's making up something. Oh, it's like something that's totally, it's like, where they get that from? But I had one of my people there, and she was like, it wasn't gonna go down like that when I was sitting there. Because I've been to the stuff, I'm in the program, and I
Yeah.
told them this, right?
Yeah.
And that's what culture does. Culture
Yeah.
creates a league of ambassadors that represent
Yes.
and stand on your behalf, even when you're not there.
Yeah. Say almost like church, right?
Exactly.
We look like we look at these churches and we all folks want to, oh man, how these churches, these nonprofits, they need to be paying. Y'all don't understand how much it takes to build these communities. Right. If
Yes.
you see a church out there that's got 10, 15,000 people, believe me, that pastor and that team has been working their butts off. When you look at a 45,000 member community of traffic sales and profit, don't let this smooth taste fool you. Yeah, Lamar got that grin on his face, and when he get into one of his webinars, but I know he back there, he grinding with him and his team. And they're not just, there's this perception out here right now that these coaches, let me get my air quotes in the camera, these coaches are just out here just taking people's money. And there's some that are doing that.
Mhm.
There's some people not bringing value, and especially now with ChatGPT, they can put anything together and claim that they're an expert in something. But it ain't just Lamar. It ain't just Ronnie. It's the Freddie Taylors. It's so many people in the community that have had success, and as you mentioned, are ambassadors to what they're doing. Talk to us about activating your community and how important they are in the growth of your organization.
Yeah, it's big. One of the easiest ways I say to activate them is to make sure they can have success, and
Mm-hmm.
then look for opportunities to plug them into your platform. So you mentioned, Freddie Taylor. Freddie has an amazing company, Urban Intellectuals, where they sell. They do Black history, make everyday Black history
Mm-hmm.
achievable and approachable
Yeah.
for their community, right, and for the communities that exist here. But in that, the beauty of it is, friendly, like they've done, there we go right there with the cards, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
like
right
they've
there.
done amazing work to build brand, to build a community, and to
Yeah.
launch off from the flashcards like you had to
Mm-hmm.
calendars to
Yeah.
like an online platform called the Sankofa Club, which is like a digital version of like highlights for kids. You remember like highlights back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So they got like
Mm-hmm.
a Black version of highlights, but it's all online and digital.
Yeah.
Now they do trips, right? They partner with another one of our collaborative members, Jay Cameron, that does trips to Africa. So now Freddie
Mm.
has, and it's funny, like they've taken it from just the flashcards, and now they're literally taking people to
Yeah.
Ghana, to
Yeah.
Egypt, to
Yeah.
South Africa.
Yeah.
So if you want to like, hey, how can I really, get the community out there, support them in having success, and then once you support them
Mm-hmm.
in having success, like look for ways to plug them in.
Yeah.
So at the events, right? I say always looking, like the majority of the people at our event next week are people in our programs, because I got so many experts in the programs. I'm like, what would I look like speaking on this specific topic when I got somebody in the program that this is all
Right.
they do all day,
Right.
every day? And I think
Yes.
for if there are any coaches, consultants kind of watching, I think one of the things that holds a lot of coaching programs back
Mm-hmm.
is that the ego of the coach. Like the coach feel like they
Mm.
gotta be like the end all be all. Nobody can be smarter than me. But when you build a real community, that's the beauty of it. I got so many experts, right,
Yeah.
that I can tag these experts in for different pieces to come speak. We got
Yeah.
a streaming network, Miguel, called the Convo, right?
Yes.
We do
Mm-hmm.
Black wealth and Black entrepreneurship information. I encourage everybody to download. It's on in the Apple App Store, it's on the Android App Store, Roku Fire Stick, on the web at convo.tv. But on the Convo, like most of the shows that we create, we're tapping into people in our community, because again, we got so much expertise. So again,
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to say, how can I leverage it? I build it, then look for opportunities to put your people on that are actually in the community, that are your ride or dies, that live and breathe,
Yep.
like what you've built, bringing them beside you instead of thinking they got to be behind you. Bring them beside you, then try to find ways to push them in front of you.
The fact that you're unafraid to put folks on is something that we as Black folks got to get past that, man. 97% of our businesses are single operators. So you're talking about people, when they, like you said, they just created their own job. You know what I mean? They don't have to go
Yep.
clocking anywhere, but they pretty much doing the same type of work, just doing it for themselves. But you seem to have a good bit of people who are in that 3%, right? And or there's a plan in place to get folks into that 3% where they're building enterprises, which for people who don't understand the difference between a business, an LLC, and an enterprise, there's a big difference. And understand that when you start talking about small business being allocated, being shown as a small businesses, there are multi-million-dollar companies that are still considered small business by corporations and the government. And so really love your dedication, folks, to that. One person is asking about the Africa tour. That is, could you repeat? Because I know
Yeah.
Freddie Taylor, but he's
Yeah,
incorporating
Freddie,
somebody
yes,
else.
is urbanintellectuals.com. You can get all the information on urbanintellectuals.com.
Yeah. So I want to circle back to that building the enterprise and being able to look out from that stage and saying you've watched people in this room go from coming in here 4 years ago when they were beginning, and now they've got 6 and 7. Because I heard you say this, you're going to have some awards coming up with multiple
Yes.
people having 6, 7, and 8 figure gross businesses that are going to be awarded during your conference.
Yeah, like I said, it's a process. Next week, every time we do 2 events a year, January and June, that are public for the like anybody in the public just kind of come out to it, buy a ticket and come out to it.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do those, like the one coming up, we do awards for people in our programs because those we can actually vet. And it's not just like, hey, tell us what you do. They have to actually show us proof. So they got to do a video. Won't take no screenshots. We know better than that. Like they got to do a video actually walking us through their financials, showing us their numbers, taking us into their Shopify store, no matter what it may be, to actually show and explain like how they got the revenue. But we'll be giving out, I believe it's like 22 6-figure awards next week and 7 or 8 7-figure awards. And now we've been doing it since not the beginning, but 2019, we started giving out these awards because we said, hey, you know what? Like we need to celebrate the accomplishments of our entrepreneurs because nobody else is. You know what I mean? Like entrepreneurs know, like y'all know how hard it is. It's hard to get to that first 6. It's even harder to get to that first 7.
Absolutely.
But when you get there, not only is it nobody to celebrate you, half the time you're scared to tell people because you think they won't ask you for money. So who? Like you sit in a space where not only can we celebrate you, can we award you, but you got hundreds of people, right? We talking about like 1,000-person event, so it's hundreds of people there saluting you, clapping for you, standing up that don't even know you. And I think for so long, for so many of us, that's the type of support that we lacked. We felt like we didn't have in our community, and it's been our effort to create it inside of TSP. But like you said, like seeing company, you say, hey, like you've got like we over-index in people that have more employees than the average Black business, that make more revenue than the average Black business. Again, it's that proximity to success. When you're in a room with people and we talk about, and not just talk about, but show you the importance of team, you're much more likely to get a team and start building a team much faster than you would otherwise. When you're in a room and they talk about the importance of having your financials together, then you're much more likely to do that, having your contracts tight. So it's just being exposed to a different level of information, knowledge, and then inside of those programs, the honesty and transparency we really push, where somebody can do a launch and come into our mastermind group and say, hey, you know what? I did a launch. I spent, $20,000 on ads. I made, $220,000 gross. This how much I, paid. This how much work I had to do. This is like this is my gross. This is my net. Those conversations we're not having, but we should. So we built a smaller ecosystem where we can do that, and it's been working.
Where was your aha moment when you realized that this was working? Right? When did it happen?
It probably, I'll say like the big shift was 2022. Because I'm always like looking forward. So we did we started in 2015. We did our first event 2016, Cobb Galleria. I expected, the goal was to have 200 people. Then we changed that, like, okay, the signups ain't looking good. So we said, all right, let's try to get to 100. We ended up with 47 people there. A lot of those people had free tickets.
Okay.
So, but we saw like just enough to keep going, right?
Yeah.
And we kept our costs down low enough. We didn't lose money on it. So we saw just enough to keep going, and we did it. And what we saw was that, like you said, businesses were coming in small, but they were having like success and they were doing it. And then that would attract more businesses in, and people have a little bit more success. And we came from, companies coming in and everybody trying their best to get to 100K, then all of a sudden we start attracting businesses that are bigger, doing 100, 200, 300,000 into the actual programs. Then we started having companies where like, hey, it's a lot of people in the 6-figure range. It's almost like the 4-minute mile. We had a company break through to 7 figures, and then we had companies start moving and pushing through past that 7-figure mark. Then the same thing. We had somebody break 8 figures, right? We had companies start breaking past that $10 million a year in revenue mark. But it's literally just like a process of seeing it. In 2022, for me, is when it all came together. We had kept outgrowing hotels to do the conference in. So we had moved to the Avalon where we at now, which I believe is our fourth. Yeah, it's our fourth venue. Thank you. It's our fourth venue at the Avalon. That year we had our biggest speaker ever, which was Magic Johnson. Which Magic came and killed it. So it's like a new level of speaker, a new level of venue. It was our biggest event yet. I think that event we had maybe 800 people in the room. So it was our biggest event to the time. And we also had that mastermind program you talked about.
Yeah.
That event, we had like 140 people enrolled in the program that wanted to be a part of it. So in that moment, and this is good for everybody watching, because entrepreneurs, like the goal line is always moving. Yeah. Like we got goals of what we want to do revenue wise, team wise, our mission, our vision, our values. A lot of times when you reach those goals, like the goal just get extended, right? So I want to get to 50,000. Then when you get there, I got to get to 100. You get to 100, you got to get to 5. So for us, it really was at that time, it was my minute to pause and look and say, wow, Magic is here. Wow.
Yeah.
It's 700 people here. Wow. Yeah. Like, look at all these individuals just trusting me with their business, because I don't take it lightly, that they trusted me and the team to help them get their business to the next level. And I feel like, to me, that's when like it really all clicked, that all the work we had been doing from 2015 to then, like this was the payoff of it. But then it was still a lot more left. But that was the payoff of it, and that we had to keep going.
No, man, that's amazing. And for you to say that it was 2022, which is 7 years after you started this process, you guys didn't quit. You stayed focused. How did you stay focused 7 years into that thing, man? And tell us about that, because people need to be encouraged about that.
That's good. Yeah, you got it. And that's a great question. You got to have a goal, and the goal and the mission has to really push you. And a lot of times it can't just be about money alone, because like I said, you can get to a money goal and then what, right? Yeah. So for us, we say our goal, when we start giving out these awards, we say, hey, how can we really tell we have an impact on people? And we said, well, the awards is a good way, because we want people to build more revenue so they can build more team, they can hire more people, they can do more in the community, all those type of things. So when we started tracking the numbers, we said by the time we get to December 31st, 2030, into the decade, we want to have given out 500 7-figure awards, 50 8-figure awards, 5 9-figure. That's $100 million a year. That's what keeps us moving. And even to get there, we had like a 3-year goal first, where we said, hey, by the time we get to the end of 2022, like to be on track, we got to have 30 7-figure and 5 8-figure. And at the time, we might have like 2 or 3 7-figure companies. We was like, we don't know how that's going to happen, but that's the goal. But not only did we hit that goal, we over-ended. We went past it. I think we ended up like 36 7-figure companies that year total, right? Over the whole year since 2019, then 36 7-figure, and we hit the 5 8-figures that either were in the program or had left the program, and then they graduated from 6 or 7 and maybe hit like 8 the year after they left or something. But literally, it was having that goal. So every time when stuff is going crazy, it's like, hey, you know what? Like, what's the mission? And the mission got me. Every time when, I might have a team member to do something wild, right? Because, we got some great team members. We got some people who came and gone over them years too. Ain't nothing perfect, right? But I'm like, that's the mission that keep me. Every time if I have a client that knuck a few buck and they acting wild, right? And like all
we
those
all know
things,
about that.
Right. Hey, if the money get funny one year, like all those things together are the things that the mission is what keeps me rooted and focused. And every time I see a success story, it really hits me like, hey, I got to keep doing this, because I know it's more people like that outside of the community. Ain't never heard of a Traffic Sales and Profit. Ain't never heard of a Lamar and Ronnie. So we got to do the work to get them in, to do our part, to get them in that room, and then to get them in the program so we can really help mold and shape their companies and get them to the next level.
I say all the time, there's a market for everything and everybody. For any Black entrepreneurs, especially here in Atlanta, not to know who you and your wife are, still amazes me, even though I've been a marketer professionally for 25 years, because we always look at that thing like 45,000 people, businesses all over. You got Curl Mix, who turned down money from Shark Tank,
right?
Right, and they're extremely successful, right? You've got members who have sold or who are now in Macy's and like you said, Freddie doing the tours, and that's just people I can think of off the top of my head, right? And I know there's 100 more that I don't even know who they are. But you guys just keep and you persist, you keep going. And you're not doing, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're primarily building community, educating, because you're not providing funding. You're not, the services is all about the people within the community kind of serving each other, correct?
Exactly. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, so this isn't a chamber. This is bringing like-minded people together and making it happen. You guys, we got a superstar here on this thing. If you guys, somebody's got some questions, I can keep going, but I'm not gonna waste Lamar time. I know he got plenty to do. So if you got some questions, drop them in the chat. We want to make sure we give an opportunity. Is registration closed?
It's not closed. It is still open and available. We got a few seats left. Anybody interested, you can go to the website, which is www.tspgameplan.com, tspgameplan.com. And to show my appreciation for Atlanta Black Chambers and everything y'all do, I actually had the team create a promo code as well. You get $250 off of your admission type when you use the promo code ABC. So use ABC at tspgameplan.com. You'll save $250 on the ticket.
Oh,
Make
man,
sure you
that's big. That's big. We got you. Don't miss out on that, because that's big. Here's our website, as we mentioned, is January 25th through the 27th here in Atlanta. It's kind of Atlanta. It's north of Atlanta.
It's Atlanta-ish. It's Atlanta-ish.
It's Atlanta-ish. If a folks like me way down here in Henry County, we like, I might have to get a hotel up that jump. Boy, I'm making that trip up there.
But hey, like people, we got a couple of rooms too. But I'll tell you, like, we're excited next week.
Yeah.
We got Master P coming, right?
Yeah.
And I want to talk to them about how he sold over 100 million records, and not just that, but the marketing machine that was I feel like enough people don't talk about the way Master P and his team marketed, right? Like some of the best marketers ever. Didn't be able to go from music to movies, from movie to food. Like now, him and Snoop got the cereal that's out heavy. We doing that. We got Don Peebles, probably the largest black real estate developer in the country. He got a project right now, skyscraper in Manhattan, that'll be the tallest skyscraper in North America when they get done with this project. And led by like the entire team that's leading this thing is black, right? They've dedicated that. They've set aside that a third of the contractors on this will be black, right? Working on this in Manhattan. So we got him. We got Arlen Hamilton, venture capitalists coming. We got so many experts to help people from everything from licensing, a stream of revenue most of us don't think about, to how do you do your offshore manufacturing and protect your products and ideas, to how do you do six-figure virtual launches, to, like I said, virtual products, information products, physical products, e-commerce, service-based businesses. We got you. Like, if you're a black business, we got you. You need to make sure you're there.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much information and so many relationships. And I see Sister Trish said she's going to be there. She can't wait to reconnect with the TSP family. It's game changing stuff. And I'll be honest with you, even with my business, I'm so busy with my business, but also, serving boards and this, that, and third. Anytime I need to know, I need to get refocused, I log in to Propel and say, okay, Miguel, okay, all this other stuff we're doing, this is the system. And that's the part that I think that we miss. And as you mentioned now with AI and things, ways to automate it, stuff that we've had to do for the last few years, and it's work. It ain't like, let the smooth taste fool you. Yep. Some of the stuff is making it a little bit easier, but you still have got to be dedicated and locked in and be disciplined and focused.
Totally so. And what I want a lot of people to know is that, like, we're aware, like 2023 was a tough year for a lot of black businesses for different reasons, right? Okay. Not for everybody. For a lot of black businesses, they had a tough year in 2023. Yeah. In 2024, like, we don't know what it's going to look like. We don't know if interest rates, one day they like, hey, rates going to keep going up. Next day they like, hey, they're going to come down, right? We don't know what's going to happen in an election year because, a lot of times the parties pushing one story or another story or narratives, one look good, one look bad. Yep. And it's going to be crazy. It's like a lot of other external factors that can influence the markets, right, to impact our businesses this year. Mm-hmm. So we really made a dedication to, start with game plan next week and throughout this year to make sure that we're doing everything we can do to support the black companies within our reach, right, we're based here in Atlanta, but which are all across, not even just the country, but we got some international members that come in as well. And really taking them, supporting them, and making sure we not just survive through the year, but thrive through the year and
Mhm.
get everything that we should get to the next level of what we want to build, and do it together. That's the main thing.
What's next? What's next for you guys? Because we even talked about the 9 or 10 documentary films you guys have produced. There's a lot of stuff that we haven't even gotten this conference because y'all need to do your research. Go research my man Lamar and Ronnie Tyler. They've been killing it. What's next for you guys?
Next for us is trying to impact more businesses. Like I said, whether it's through entertainment with our network, the Convo I talked about. Everybody, make sure you go download that. Whether it's through, like I said, the conferences and events, we want to grow those bigger. And at the conference and events, like we even like connecting with the people. We want to put people in front of our audience that makes them dream and question everything. I talked about that time we brought Magic in, and Magic told the story of how he had to deal or go meet with Howard Schultz, the CEO of Starbucks at the time, to allow them to get into the franchise and had the first one. But then he also told about how he grew them all the way up to 150 different Starbucks and then sold them back to the corporate company and exited. These are the conversations that a lot of time we don't get to have in our circles because we don't know anybody in our circle that got 150 Starbucks that could exit and sell it, right?
Right.
But
Right.
again, right, like things like for us to just grow as big as possible so we can keep bringing in the best in the world to educate the best Black entrepreneurs in the world and keep pushing and moving to the next level.
I heard you say one time, people said, they were asking you, how did you get Magic Johnson to come to your conference? And you said, we paid him. We booked him.
Yeah, that's what people like, where your Lambo at? Magic is my Lambo.
But that's dedication, man. That's focus.
Yeah.
That's dedicated to the community, dedicated to growth. I tell people all the time when they talk about, being focused, Chick-fil-A does two things well: chicken and customer service. And I think a lot of times we want to do so many things, and if stuff is not serving your overall mission, then you're probably wasting your time. Man, we've had a great conversation, man. Anything you want to get before we close out? Because I'm looking there. I guess you're answering all the questions. Nobody's got questions. We got quite a few people that are watching. Nobody has questions, so that's okay. Close us out. What's your closing message for our community?
Yeah, like I said, no matter how last year turned out, no matter how this year started, just make sure that you're doing everything again to not just think about how can I sustain the business, but how can you blow it out of the water, right? Most of us think too small when we think about what's even possible. So you need to get around a community of people that can think bigger. That's what we do at Traffic Sales and Profit. I would love to have you pretty much probably the easy way is visit our website, trafficsalesandprofit.com. From the website, you can find our Facebook group, free community, 45,000 plus Black entrepreneurs. They want to support you, want to lift you up, want to hear about your business. You also can find our events, like I said, TSP Game Plan next week, 25th through the 27th here in the Atlanta area. I'm going to try to straighten me out. The Atlanta area out here at Avalon.
We let them believe it's all Atlanta. Y'all come on. Y'all figure out when y'all get in the highway and it's an hour and a half from one meeting to the next.
In the Atlanta area, right? At the Avalon. We got a great event, like I said, Master P, Arlen Hamilton, Don Peebles, Dr. Boyce Watkins, Roz Goodwin. I mean, so many amazing people that's, like I said, not just there to motivate. We will motivate you. We're going to inspire you, but we're going to give you some actionable steps and items that we want to then see you leave and execute. Because if you don't execute, don't mean nothing. Okay, but how many notes you got to actually implement and make it happen. And then don't forget, use promo code ABC and save you $250 off of the ticket types, because we want to make sure you get in the room and have what you need.
Real quick before we go, someone asked again, and we know we had always got to circle back. It's all right. It's all right. Somebody asked about the website, about the Facebook page, actually, and I will pull it up for you here real quick. Where's the recap? There we go. There it is. There's your Delinda. There's a Facebook page, Traffic Sales and Profit with Lamar Tyler. As you mentioned, this is over 45,000 people, and when I tell you the conversations every day, all day are informative and join the community, and that's whether it be the ABC or Traffic Sales and Profit community. And before we go, man, Facebook has changed up stuff so much, man. How do you maintain the conversation on Facebook? It seems like, it's just like a lot of times people posting stuff, it's going into the ether. Like it ain't going, my messages ain't going nowhere, but you guys continue to grow. Well, give us a little nugget on how we grow our community in the Facebook group.
You know what it is consistently paying attention, consistently testing different things, and then noticing what's in the marketplace. Like you said, like Facebook, Instagram, like in these social platforms, what they allow you to do. We got to make sure, like, we know that what they allow people to see at that time is what they want people to see. So what they allow you to do and post and let people see is always changing based on what their business directives is and what their priorities are. So for us, it's up to us to not just post different content, but then see how that content performs, see how it works.
Yeah.
Make sure we kind of monitor other pages and groups to see what's happening there, what type of things are getting the most reach and influence there. And then like going back and optimizing what we have. Just for everybody, no matter what kind of business you got, always say that it's your responsibility to do three things. You got to LAO. You got to launch it. You got to analyze. You got to optimize it, whether that comes to your social media, whether it comes to a product or service you got. The first thing is you got to launch. You got to get into the marketplace. Too many people got too many ideas stuck in their head because they never actually get it out into the world to even see if it works or not, right? So we got to launch it. Once we launch it, then no matter what, even if we don't make money, we got a valuable asset, which is data. So then we get the data back. And once we got the data back on what happened, whether it worked or didn't work, what can we double down on? What can we get rid of? Then we push it and we say we optimize it. And when we optimize it, that's how we make what we do even better than it was before. And we just kind of repeat that process over and over and over again. Launch it, analyze it, optimize it.
My PG County DMV brother, I will see you next week. Looking forward to seeing you. I know you be busy, so I know everybody's gonna be trying to pull on your coattails, but I'm congratulating you in advance for another amazing conference, and thank you for being a part of the Atlanta Black Chambers and being dedicated. This is all we need from you, brother. Just come hang out with us once, twice a year, man. Come fill us in on what you're doing, so we can go ahead and send some more people your way, because you're definitely getting it done.
I appreciate it. Thank you, man. Thank you for all that the Atlanta Black Chambers does, and I appreciate you.
All right, my brother. Take care. All right, great conversation with my man Lamar Tyler. And so, as we mentioned, go check out the conference. Go check out the Facebook group. If you can't make the conference, it's going to encourage you to want to go to that conference, because it's going to be great. There's quite a few people who are part of the ABC that are also in the TSP community. And so we encourage you to go. So before we get up out of here, as we mentioned, follow us on all the social media platforms, where you will be able to keep up with everything we've got going on with our organization. Looks like we see Thursday we got the Women's League kickoff, networking social that will be going on at Studio House in Atlanta for the women of our organization. There is a Women's League virtual meeting every third Friday, so that should be coming up here soon. Once again, the ladies are getting it done every third Friday, 12 noon to Power Hour, Facebook Live, Power Lunch. Make sure you stay engaged every which way. There should be an open house coming up here real soon. Shout out to our folks over there, our corporate partners of the Year Block, for supporting us and continue to support our organization. So we appreciate y'all. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you share this content. Even though it was live, people can view it at any time they want, whenever they want. So share it if it blessed you. Make sure you bless some others with this content. Hey, y'all, we'll see y'all the next Chamber Live. Take care.